Hi, thanks for joining today's webinar. I hope you all can see my screen and hear me well. Please let me know if there is any audio discrepancy or technical problem. I'll be waiting for your answers. I would like to introduce myself. Myself, Taro, and I'm from Zoho Analytics pre-sales team. I'll be accompanied by my colleague Titus. In case if you want to contact us after the webinar, you can feel free to send us an email. I have also mentioned our email addresses in the presentation. Being said this, let me get started with today's webinar. So there are three important aspects in today's webinar. The first one is data import process. The second one is visualizing the imported data, creating reports and dashboards. And the third one is sharing and collaboration. These are the three important aspects which we'll be focusing on. Unstructured data may be present anywhere. We need to structure the data using ETL capabilities, find errors in the data and rectify it, transform and enrich the data and import it into Zoho Analytics. Once the data is imported, we can create reports and dashboards with the imported data. Finally, we can analyze the created reports and do a deep dive analysis to make key business decisions. So these are the three important aspects I'll be focusing on today's webinar. Being said this, let me move on to my next slide. Zoho Analytics 5.0 comprises of ETL capabilities, augmentation capabilities. You can also present the created reports or dashboards in the form of a compelling presentation. We also have marketplace applications. We will look at all of these capabilities in detail in my upcoming slides. So now we're going to start with data prep. As I said before, the first step in today's webinar is to import the data. While importing, we can leverage the data prep capabilities and do ETL process. So what is data prep? Data prep is an advanced self-service data preparation software that helps organizations prepare huge volumes of data. Data can be imported from variety of sources, and data prep can automatically identify errors, discover data patterns, transform and enrich data, all without the need of coding. Data prep also helps in cataloging the data and then setting up pipelines to sync the prepared data into the tool. So we'll jump into the product demonstration. As a first step, I'm going to import the data from my local drive into Zoho Analytics. While importing, I'm going to leverage the data prep capabilities and I'm going to do some transformation. So this is the home screen of Zoho Analytics. As I said before, I'm going to start with the data import process. To import the data, you can press the option import your data present at the top right. Zoho Analytics offers connectors for various Zoho applications as well as different business applications. We offer connectors for various Zoho applications such as Zoho Recruit, Zoho Books, Zoho CRM, and much more. And we also offer connectors for various business applications such as QuickBooks, Xero, Sage Accounting, Stripe, Teamwork Desk, and much more. If you have the data in a local or cloud database, you can also import the data from your respective database. You can also import the data from your cloud storage like Google Drive. If your application is not listed here, let's say that you have data in a separate application that is not listed here, you can still import the data from your data source using API, provided if your external application supports API. For today's demo, I'm going to import an Excel file present in my local drive. I'm going to choose Files. I'm naming this workspace as Webinar. I'm going to choose the file type as Excel because I'm going to import an Excel file. So after selecting the file from a local drive, I'm going to hit next. I'm going to select next again. I'm going to name this table as sales because I have imported the sales data. So here, before we complete the import process, you can find an option called prepare data. When you select prepare data, you'll be able to leverage the data prep capabilities. Data prep is available in Zoho Analytics interface itself. While importing, you can choose the option prepare data and prepare your data. So this is my data set. I'll quickly walk you through the data. I have the date column, I have region column, I have product category, product, customer name, sales, generated, cost incurred, and I have the city, state, country information along with the salesperson name information. So this is my data, and you can see the data set details. We have 100% valid data, we have 0 invalid data, and 0% of missing data. When you select any column, you'll be able to see the column specific details. At the top of each column, you can find the data quality bar, which will specify the quality of the data column. We can find the column city, and the data quality bar suggests that the city column has 100% valid data, 0% invalid data, and 0% missing data. When you select any column, you'll be able to see set of suggestions. You can add prefix or suffix. You can replace n number of characters in the column. So I'm going to add a prefix just to give you an idea of how this works. You can also add a suffix. So whenever you make any transformation, you can see the preview pane showing the results. If you are satisfied with the result, you can hit apply. So I'm going to cancel this transform. Similar way, you can replace the matching text, or you can replace first 10 characters or last 10 characters and much more. We can also trim the white spaces. We can split the column. We can change the case. If you want to change the case to a lower case or a title case, you can change the case accordingly and hit apply. And we can duplicate the column or delete the column. And we have smart selection. When you select or highlight any text, you'll get suggestions. So the moment I highlighted a text, I get suggestions. You can extract the highlighted values, or you can replace the highlighted values, or you can count the values or split the values. This is how the smart selection works. And you can also deduplicate. If you're having a lot of duplicates in your data, you can deduplicate by using the deduplicate option. You can deduplicate row wise or column wise. You can also build a pivot over this data set and import only the data that is necessary. We can also do unpivoting with the help of data prep. Unpivoting requires complex SQL queries, but this has been made simple with the help of data prep. You can also add formulas. You can add window functions, and you can insert the function and build the formulas, and you can import the data. So all of the transformation that you make will be saved as rule sets. If you are importing subsequent data, then you can use the existing rule set and apply the same transformations. So this is how the inbuilt data prep works. If you would like to know more on how data prep works in detail, you can join our webinar that is confined to data prep. So after you make your transformation, you can hit apply changes, and we can import the data into the tool. So I have successfully imported the data into the tool. Here we can find a pop-up called auto generate reports. So what happens is when I select yes, the tool will automatically analyze the data that I have imported, and the tool will come up with set of reports and dashboards. So this is the sales data. I have sales information, cost information, customer name, product category, region, state, country, and much more. Now I'm going to select yes for auto generate reports, and let's see what the tool is capable of. So I have a beautiful dashboard called cost analysis dashboard where I can find different reports related to cost. In the similar way, when you go to dashboard section, you can find different dashboards. We have sales analysis dashboard. We have sales versus cost dashboard. Under reports, we can find more than 20 reports. We have sales reports, cost reports, sales versus cost reports. All of these reports and dashboards are created automatically with the help of the auto analysis feature. In the similar way, when you're importing your data, you can make use of the auto analysis feature and come up with predefined reports and dashboards. So most of your business requirements will get achieved in these predefined reports and dashboards. You can customize the existing reports or dashboards by choosing edit design, or you can create a new report or dashboard. So I have selected edit design for the sales analysis dashboard. Now you can resize any reports, or you can delete the report present in the dashboard. The similar way to customize a report, you can open any existing report and choose edit design. So this is how we can make use of the auto analysis feature and come up with predefined reports and dashboards. Being said this, I'm moving on to the next important aspect. So far, we saw how we can import the data into the tool, and we saw the use of auto analysis feature. Now I'm going to step into the next important aspect, which is data visualization. So in this part, we'll be looking at how we can create reports and dashboards. So I have the data here. Now I want to create a report to find out the month and year wise sales. I repeat it again. I want to create a report that shows me the month and year wise sales. So how will I be able to do it? It is difficult for me to manually go through this data and find out the information that I want. So I'm going to create a report. And I want this report to be a graphical representation of data. So I'm going to create a chart. Creating a chart is simple in Zoho Analytics. You can select create and select chart view. We have different types of view. We have pivot view, summary view, tabular view. So I'm going to create a chart view because I want the data to be represented in a graphical format. And I'm creating this chart to find out the month and year wise sales. So hit create and I select chart view. On the left, you'll be able to find the columns related to the table. On the right, you can find the designer shelves. To create any simple report, you need to drag and drop the involved column into the respective designer shelf. I said I want to find out the month and year wise sales. So I'm going to drag and drop the date column into x-axis designer shelf. And I'm going to drag and drop the sales column into y-axis designer shelf. You can choose the actual values. I dragged and dropped the date column into x-axis designer shelf. And I mentioned that I want to create a report that shows me the month and year wise sales. So I'm going to select the actual values as month and year. The similar way, you can change the actual values depending upon your requirement. You can keep it to be quarter and year, or week and year, or full date or date and time. It depends upon your requirement. So I'm going to set this to be month and year. And I generate the graph. So the result will be displayed accordingly. If you're choosing quarter and year, then the result will be displayed accordingly. Let me change it back to month and year. So here we go. When you mouse over the data points, you'll be able to see the sales generated during the specific month and year. So I can see that in Feb 2017, I have got sales of around 31,318 US dollars. Now, if you want this text, the total sales to be displayed in the report, you can also do that. You can simply drag and drop the sales column into text designer shelf. So the sales will be displayed as text values on the report. Here we go. This is how we can create a simple chart So it is not just chart that you can create, you can also forecast how your future would be. So I have data up to March 2019, and I would like to forecast how my sales would be for next 5 months depending upon the previous trend. So how can I forecast? I can do that with the help of the forecasting feature provided by Zoho Analytics. So the top you have the analysis button. To forecast, you can choose the analysis option and select forecast, and you can add a forecast. I said I want to forecast the sales for next 5 months depending upon the previous trend. So I select add forecast and I choose sales, and I can give the forecast length depending upon your requirement. I'm keeping it to be 5. You can also give a confidence percentage if you want. I'm setting the confidence percentage to be 95. Under forecasting, there are two models. One is the auto model. If you choose an auto model, the tool will analyze your data and the tool will choose the forecast model that best fits our data. But you can also choose custom model. So we have recently started supporting custom forecasting models. So here you can choose different models like ARIMA or exponential smoothing or seasonal trend lowest decomposition or regression. Under regression, we have linear, logarithmic regression, exponential, power, and polynomial. So you can choose any custom model and forecast, or you can stick with the auto model. I'm going to stick with the auto model and I'm going to hit apply. Here we go. I have forecasted for next 5 months. I can see that in July 2019, I'll be getting sales of around 39,728 US dollars. And I'm 95% confident that my sales will fall between 9,331 US dollars to 70,126 US dollars. So this is how you can forecast your future. You can make use of the analysis button. You can select forecast and you can forecast your future. You can also set a trend line. To create a trend line, you can choose analysis and select trend line. You can add a trend line. I'm selecting sales. And again, you can choose the trend line type as per your requirement. It can be linear, logarithmic, exponential, power, or polynomial. And you can give the confidence line if you want and select apply. Here we go. I have the report that shows me the sales generated by month and year, and I have forecasted the sales for next 5 months with a confidence percentage of 95. And I have also created a trend line. So this is how you can create a simple chart. Now I have the data from March 2015 to July 2019. And now I want to eliminate the data for 2015. I don't want to see the sales result for 2015. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make use of filters. Filters can be used to include or exclude specific set of information. So my use case here is to remove the sales for the year 2015. So I'm going to use filters. I go to filters and I'm going to drag and drop the date column because date column has the date information. So I drag and drop the date column. And now I'm going to year and I'm selecting 2015 and I'm going to give exclude items. So the sales for 2015 will be excluded and I generate the graph. Here we go. You can see the report now. I have successfully eliminated the sales for 2015. In this way, you can make use of filters to include or exclude specific set of information. Now we'll see the use of user filters. User filters are meant for the end users. When you're using filter, the condition will be hard coded into the report. But when you're using user filters, you're allowing your end user to be able to slice and dice the report depending upon their preference. Let's assume that I want to send this report to my colleague in my organization, and my colleague would like to slice and dice this report depending upon product category and product. So what I can do is I can go to user filter section. I can simply drag and drop the product category and the product into user filter designer shelf and generate the graph. So this report shows me the month and year wise sales, and I'm sending this report to my colleague. My colleague would like to slice and dice the report depending upon product category and product. So I dragged and dropped the product category and the product column into user filter designer shelf. And now when I send this report to my colleague will be able to find the product category and the product present as options at the top, and my colleague can slice and dice the report depending upon any specific product category or product depending upon his requirement. So this is the use of user filters. So basically user filters are meant for the end users. Depending upon the column that we drag and drop into user filter designer shelf, our end user will be able to slice and dice the report. So I'm going to save this report. Save it as month and year wise sales. I'm going to save it in a new folder. I create a new folder called webinar. Perfect. So we saw how we can create a chart. So it is not just chart that we can create. We can do a scenario based analysis. So this is my sales report. You can also perform a what if analysis. For example, let's say that I want to achieve profit percentage of 70. In order for me to achieve profit percentage of 70, how much sales should I make? We can do that with the help of what if analysis. Now let me quickly show you how what if analysis works. So here you can find the what if analysis report. At the top you have the profit percentage slider. So what this report is showing me is, in order for me to get profit percentage of 60, how much sales should I make in my upcoming months? So I see that in October I should make sales of around 2.97 thousand US dollars, and in November 2021 I need to make sales of around 3.20 thousand US dollars. So this is the powerful scenario based analysis that you can do inside Zoho Analytics. You can increase or decrease the slider. I'm going to increase the slider. So now I can see the profit percentage is set at 65. In order for me to achieve 65% of profit, I need to make sales of around 3.06 thousand dollars in October and 3.30 thousand dollars in November 2021. So this slider is the variable. I'll quickly explain you how you can achieve this what if analysis. You can perform a powerful scenario based analysis by creating a variable first. The variable is the profit percentage slider that you're looking at. You can increase or decrease the slider. We'll create the slider first. So this slider is the variable. To create a variable, you can go to settings. Under settings, you have an option called variable. So here you can create a new variable. So I'll show you the existing variable. The existing variable, I have set the minimum value to be 50 and the maximum value to be 90 with the increment size of 5, and the default value is set at 60. And that is why when I open the report, you are able to find the slider showing the profit percentage at 60. And when I increased, it got incremented to 65 because we have given the increment size as 5. So in this way, you need to create a variable first. I have selected range. You can also choose a list or range and create a variable first. So after you create a variable, you need to create an aggregate formula. We can go to the base table. So the base table, you can create an aggregate formula. So I'll show you the existing aggregate formula that I created. So I said that in order for me to get a specific percentage of profit, how much sales should I make? So I have created the formula accordingly. So the formula is sum of sales price plus sales price multiplied by the variable. You can pass the variable into the formula that you're building. So your variable will be listed. You can drag and drop the variable into the formula and you're gonna divide it by 100. So after you build this formula, you're gonna save this formula. After you save this formula, you can utilize this while you're creating the report. So in this report, I have dragged and dropped the date column into x-axis designer shelf, and I have dragged and dropped the formula, the aggregate formula that I created into y-axis designer shelf. And under user filter, you can pass this variable that we have created. So the default value is set at 60. And now when you're increasing the slider or decreasing the slider, you'll be able to find out how much sales you should make to get a certain percentage of profit. Now I have set the slider at 70. In order for me to get profit percentage of 70, I need to make sales of around 3.40 thousand US dollars in November 2021, and in October 2021 I should make sales of around 3.15 thousand US dollars. So this is how you can do a powerful scenario based analysis. So far we saw how we can create a chart, and we saw how we can use filters to include or exclude specific set of information. We saw the use of user filters, and now we saw how we can do a what if analysis. Now I'm going to explain you how you can create a pivot table. Creating a pivot view is very simple in Zoho Analytics. You can select create and choose a pivot view. But before I create a pivot view, I'll tell you what a pivot view is. Pivot view is a metrics view. If you want the report to be present in a tabular form or a metrics format, you can create a pivot view. So now I'm going to create a pivot view to find out the profit that has been generated in different region for different product under different product category. I repeat it again. I'm going to create a pivot view to find out the profit that has been generated in different region for different product under different product category. In my base table, I have a column called sales, I have a column called cost, but I don't have a column called profit. So how will I be able to find out the profit? I can do it by creating a formula. The basic mathematics to find out profit is sales minus cost. So I'm going to create a formula. Zoho Analytics allows you to build formulas. To add a formula, you can select add and choose formula column. If your formula involves aggregate functions like sum or sum for average, you can choose aggregate formula. Now I'm going to build a simple formula to perform sales minus cost to find out profit. So I'm going to stick with the formula column option. We have various functions. We also recently started supporting different windowing functions. You can find window average, window count. So you can also make use of these functions depending upon your requirement. When you mouse over any function, you'll be able to find the parameters. You'll be able to find the syntax along with an example. And this will eventually help you to build the formula easily. So now I'm going to the columns option. I'm naming this formula as profit. And I'm simply selecting the sales column. I'm entering the subtraction symbol minus manually, and I give cost. I'm building this formula to find out the profit, and I'm gonna hit save. Now I can see that I have a separate column called profit in my base table. But you can see there is a minimal difference between the other column sales and cost and profit. Yes, it is the data type. The data type of sales and cost are present in currency, but the data type of profit is in decimal. So we'll change the data type. To change the data type, you can perform a right click over the column and select change data type. And I'm changing the data type to currency. And I hit OK. So here we go. Now I have the profit column and the data type is currency. Now we are good to go ahead and create a pivot table. I'm creating the pivot view to find out the profit that has been generated in different region for different product and a different product category. So I select create and I select pivot view. Creating a pivot view is also similar to how we created a chart. We can simply drag and drop the columns that we want into the respective designer shelf. While creating a pivot view, we need to make sure that all of the numeric columns or the number columns should be dragged and dropped into data designer shelf. So I said I want to find out the profit generated in different region for different product and a different product category. So I'm going to drag and drop the profit column into data designer shelf because profit column is a number column. And I want to see the profit depending upon different product category and product. I drag and drop the product category and the product into row designer shelf. So the product category and the product will be displayed in the form of rows. And I also want to see the profit generated depending upon different region. So I drag and drop the region column into column designer shelf. So the region central, western, east that we have in the data will be displayed in the form of columns. The product category and the product will display in the form of rows and the profit will be displayed accordingly. Let's see how the report looks like. So here we go. As I said, the product category and the product are displayed in the form of rows and the column region shows the results in the form of columns. This is because we dragged and dropped the region column into column designer shelf, and you can find the central, western, east region present in the form of columns, and we can see the profit getting accumulated accordingly. From this report, we can see that we have got a lot of profit from the east region. And the east region, we can also see that the product meeting room tables has fetched the utmost profit. In this way, you can build pivot tables and you can get insights easily. You can also apply themes to your pivot view that you're building. You can choose a custom theme color. Now I'm going to save this report. Save it as profit report and I save webinar. Here we go. So now we have created a report that shows the profit that has been generated in different region for different product and a different product category. So far, we had been creating reports with data from one table. We created this chart first. This chart shows us the sales generated during different month and year. And we saw how we can forecast. And we also saw how we can create a trend line, followed by which we created a pivot report. We created this pivot report to find out the profit that has been generated in different region for different product and a different product category. And all of these reports that we created were from one table. So now I'm going to explain you how you can create a report with data from different tables. I'm going to import another set of data into the existing workspace, and I'm going to create a report that has the data from both the tables. We'll get started. So I'm going to import the data into the same workspace. So I'm going to select import data. You can import data into the same table or you can import data into a new table. If you're importing data into the existing table, you need to make sure that the skeleton of the data is the same, which means all of the column names that you have here in the existing table, the same set of column names should be present in your new data set. If your skeleton of the data set is different, then you can import the data into a new table. I'm importing the data into a new table. This is again an Excel file. So I name this table as target. This file that I'm importing has the salesperson name and the target information, the target that they are supposed to achieve. And this is an Excel file. And now I select next. And again, I select next. This is a small file that I'm importing. All looks good. I'm going to hit create. Here we go. I have successfully imported the data set into the existing workspace. Now I'm going to give no for auto generate reports because the data set is really small. So I have imported the target table into my existing workspace. The existing workspace is a webinar. So in this workspace, we have two tables now. We have the sales table and we have the target table. Let me quickly show you the model diagram. To access the model diagram, you can go to data section and you can select model diagram. So we can see the two tables are present in the workspace, but there is no relationship between the tables. So my end goal is to create a report with data from these two tables. In order for me to create a report with data from the table sales and target, there should be a relationship established between the two tables. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to establish a relationship between these two tables. Currently, these tables are present in isolated state. I'm going to establish a relationship between these two tables. How will I be able to establish this relationship? I can establish this relationship by defining lookup. In my sales table, I have a column called salesperson. We can see the text values. We have John Roberts, we have Ashley Miller, we have Jessica Anderson, we have David Arthur, we have Rick, Mary, Thomas, Augustine, Paul. And I'll take you to the target table. In the target table, I have the salesperson column. And this has similar values. We have Ashley, Augustine, David, Jessica, John, Mary, Rick, Thomas. So this is a mutual column. In order to establish a relationship between these two tables, I'm going to define a lookup. To define a lookup, we need to have a mutual column. In our data set, the mutual column is the salesperson. You can define a lookup by performing a right click over the salesperson column. And you can find an option called change to lookup column. To define a lookup, you can select the option change to lookup column. But first, you need to perform a right click over the mutual column. You need to select change to lookup column. And you can choose the column from the other table to be looked up. So it is the salesperson column from the target table. You can find the cardinality. You can choose the cardinality as per your requirement. I'm going to choose a many to many relationship and I'm going to select save and close. Now we look at the model diagram again. So we have successfully defined a relationship between the sales table and the target table. We defined the lookup and we established this relationship. Now you can build a report with data from both the tables. Let me create a pivot view. I'm going to create a pivot view. And here you can see both the tables getting listed. You can drag and drop the information from both the tables. I'm going to create this pivot view to find out the salesperson sales and the target. So I drag and drop the salesperson name into row designer shelf. So the salespeople name are listed in the form of rows, and I want to see the target that has been allocated to them. And I also want to see the sales that has been generated by the salespeople. So I dragged and dropped the salesperson name and the target column from the target table, and I dragged and dropped the sales column from the sales table. And now I'm going to generate the pivot. So here we go. Now I have the report that shows me the sales generated by each salesperson along with the target that has been allocated to them. So this report pulls data from two different tables. So in this way, you can import multiple tables, define relationship between the tables by defining lookup, and you can create a report by dragging and dropping the information from different tables. Now I'm going to save this report, save it as sales versus target, and I save it in the folder webinar. So far, we have created 3 reports. The first report that we created is to find out the sales generated in different month and year, and we created a profit report, and finally we created a report that shows the sales versus target of each salesperson. And this report pulls data from two different tables. We establish a relationship between two tables by defining lookup. You can also join the tables by using SQL queries. If you're familiar with SQL functions or SQL query language, you can write a code on your own and you can join the tables. So I'll quickly show you how you can join the tables using SQL query. To create a query table, you can select create and choose the option query table. So now I'm going to write a query and extract the information from both the tables. So I want to see the salesperson name in the target along with the sales from the sales table. So I choose these columns. I'm passing the left join condition. I'm passing the on condition. The mutual column is the salesperson name. So I'm giving the condition sales.salesperson equals to target.salesperson. So this is my SQL code. I have selected the columns that I want and I performed the left join between two tables, and using the on condition I have given the condition. I have given the condition. I have passed the mutual column and I'm executing the query, and here we go. Now I can find the salesperson along with the target and the sales for different salesperson. So in this way you can execute a query and you can join the tables as well. So being said this, I'll take you back to my slide. Let me give a quick recap. So we started with importing the data. While importing, we saw how we can leverage the inbuilt data prep and we can do some transformation, and we imported the data. We saw the use of auto analysis feature. We created reports. Now we look at some of the augmented capabilities present within Zoho Analytics. So we have custom forecasting models, which we saw while we are creating a report, and we saw how we can create a what if analysis and do a powerful scenario based analysis. We also have ZIA Insights, conversational ZIA. So ZIA Insights will bubble up the inferences for any report, and with the help of conversational ZIA, you can converse with ZIA and get contextual replies. We have also stepped into cognitive space. You can do a sentiment analysis with your data inside Zoho Analytics. Now I'll quickly show you how ZIA Insights work and how we can have conversation with ZIA and get the reports that we want. So we have the month and year wise sales report, and if you want to get deep insights about this report, you can make use of ZIA Insights. So at the top you have the insights. To get insights about this report, you can select insights, and ZIA will bubble up the inferences. ZIA will show you the total inclining and declining points. You can see the maximum sales was observed in August 2017 and the minimum sales was observed in April 2016. And you can see that in March 2019, sales got decreased by 56%, and total sales decreased by 54% from $27,800 in Jan 2016 to $12,884 in March 2019. If you want to get even more deeper insights, you can choose the verbosity to be high. So the tool will come up with deeper insights. So it's going to be a tedious process for you to dive deep into the data and find these insights. But ZIA Insights made our job pretty simple. You can directly use ZIA Insights to get the highest inclining and declining points and key takeaways from this report. This is how insights work. Now we'll see how we can converse with Zia and get the reports that we want. To converse with Zia, you can select the Ask Zia option present at the left. Then you can have a conversation with Zia. Now I'm going to ask Zia to show me the month and year wise sales. And Zia is going to show me the month and year wise sales. And I'm going to ask Zia to show me the product category wise sales. And here we go. I have the report that shows me the product category wise sales. And I also want to see the product wise sales. So I'm going to ask Zia to show me the product wise sales. And here we go. We can also change the chart type at this interface. So we have different chart types. I'm going to select a word cloud chart. Word cloud chart is something that we recently started supporting. We have also started supporting few more cool visualizations. You can also get Zia insights right away from this interface. So this insights will give insights about the specific report, that is product wise sales. You can also edit this report, or you can save this report if you want. So this is how we can have a conversation with Zia and get contextual replies. So these are some of the augmented capabilities present in Zoho Analytics. You can use Zia insights to get inferences about the report. You can converse with Zia and get the reports that you want. And you can do a powerful scenario based analysis. You can forecast your future by using custom forecast models. And you can also perform a sentiment analysis inside Zoho Analytics. So being said this, I'm taking you to my next slide. So now we are stepping into the data story part. So what is data storytelling? Data storytelling is the practice of building a narrative around a set of data and its accompanying visualizations to help convey the meaning of that data in a powerful and compelling fashion. You can not only create reports and dashboards, but narrate the insights effectively through presentations. So far, we saw how we can import the data, how we can prepare the data with data prep, and how we can create reports from one table. We also saw how we can create reports with data from multiple tables. Now, we look at how we can create a dashboard. Dashboard is nothing but a bird's eye view. If you want to see all of the reports in a single window pane, you can create a dashboard. We'll see how we can create a dashboard, and then we'll see how we can present the created reports and dashboards in a compelling fashion. And we'll look at what the portal is. So what is a portal? The portal allows you to organize reports into pages and publish them as a microsite for your users to consume. This microsite portal setup allows you to view reports from different workspaces in a single place, letting you compare a variety of data simultaneously. With this, you can get quick insight into your key metrics at a glance. So basically, when you're creating a dashboard, you can add different reports present in a single workspace inside a dashboard. But what if you want to add reports and dashboards from multiple workspaces in a single place? And that is why we use portal. So in this section, we look at how we can create a dashboard, how we can create a slideshow, what is a portal, how to build a portal, and we look how we can embed the Zia into our presentation and portal. So now I'm going to create a dashboard. As I said before, dashboard is a bird's eye view. Creating a dashboard is very simple. You can select create and choose a dashboard. For creating reports, we had been dragging and dropping the involved columns into the respective designer shells. For creating dashboard, we can drag and drop the reports directly into the dashboard interface. So the reports that we created are saved under the folder webinar. So I purposely save these reports into a new folder so we can differentiate it easily from the existing reports which are predefined. So I'm going to drag and drop the month and year wise sales report that we created. You can resize the reports as per your requirement. And now I'm going to add the profit report as well. From sales analysis folder, I'm going to add the country wise sales. So this is a predefined report. We can also create map charts in Zoho Analytics. And I'm going to drag and drop the distribution of sales chart. So these two charts are predefined, and the other two that we used are created by us. So this dashboard has 4 reports. We have the profit report, country-wise sales report, distribution of sales report, and month and year-wise sales. So now I'm going to add a widget to this report. Before I add a widget, I'll tell you what a widget is. Widgets are key performance indicators. All the vital information that you would like to reflect in the dashboard can be added as a widget. We have different types of widget. We have a bullet chart widget, dial chart widget, full dial chart widget, a label widget, and a comparison widget. Now, I'm going to create a widget to compare the sales that has been generated this quarter versus the previous quarter. I repeat it again. I'm going to create a widget to find out the sales generated this quarter versus the previous quarter. I'm going to compare the sales generated this quarter versus previous quarter. So I'm going to use a comparison widget. The comparison widget is present in the center. I'm selecting the widget present in the middle. So I'm going to choose the data column. The data column is sum of sales. And I'm going to group it by quarter because I want to compare the sales generated this quarter versus the previous quarter. In the similar way, if you want to compare the sales generated this month versus previous month, you can choose the month and year option. And if you want to compare the weekly sales, you can choose week and year or full date and so on. So I'm going to select quarter and year. The latest will show the value for latest quarter and the previous will show the value for previous quarter. And the comparison indicator will compare the latest quarter sales versus the previous quarter sales. You can also change the comparison indicator as per your requirement and hit apply. So here we go. I see that compared to previous quarter, in this quarter, my sales has been dropped down by 73,132 US dollars, which is not at all good. In this way, you can create widgets. I'm going to create another widget to find out if my company has achieved the sales target or not. So each business will have a target. Now I need to find out if I have achieved the target or not. In order to find that out, I'm going to create another widget, and this time I'm going to use a dial chart widget. So I'm going to choose the data column as sales because I want to find out if my company has achieved the sales target or not. So I'm going to choose sum of sales. So under maximum range, you can set the target manually. So you can enter the target that you have for your company. After you enter the value, you can hit apply. So now I see that my company hasn't achieved the sales target. So in this way, you can create multiple widgets and you can add the widgets inside your dashboard. So basically, widgets are key performance indicators, which are known as KPIs. You can also add a text to your dashboard. To add a text, you can choose the text option. And I'm just entering the text as sales analysis dashboard. You can resize the text as per your requirement. You can change the font size if you want. You can align it as per your requirement and insert the text. You can drag and drop the text wherever you want inside your dashboard. And here we go. You can also add an image to your dashboard. If you want to add your company's logo as image, then you can choose the image option and you can upload the image from your local drive and insert the image into your dashboard. So now we have all the sales reports present in the sales analysis dashboard. I want to send this dashboard to my manager, and my manager would like to see the sales performance as well as cost performance reports. So it won't be good if I add the cost reports inside the same sales analysis dashboard page. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a tab. In Zoho Analytics 5.0, we have come up with a new feature called tab feature. So you can add multiple tabs inside your dashboard. So now I'm going to add cost reports as well in the new tab. So I'm going to drag and drop cost across here by product category report. And cost across here by region report. And product category wise cost. And I'm going to rename this tab. I'm going to name this tab as cost analysis tab. And I'm going to name the first tab as sales analysis tab. Now what we can do is we can send this dashboard and my manager can see the sales analysis tab and understand how sales is happening, and in the same dashboard itself he can open a new tab called cost analysis tab and view the cost reports. So we don't have to end up generating multiple links and sending multiple links to anybody at a C-suite level in the management. So now I'm going to save this dashboard. Save it as sales as cost analysis dashboard. So we have successfully created a dashboard, and we can also apply themes to the dashboard. So I'm going to apply themes to make the dashboard look visually more appealing. I have applied a dark theme. So here we go. Dashboard is ready. So you can see the dashboard has two tabs. We have the sales analysis tab and the cost analysis tab. The similar way, you can add multiple tabs as per your requirement, and you can share the dashboard with your end user. So you can also ask Zia. You can ask your questions right away from the dashboard interface. So we saw how we can create a dashboard, how we can add tabs inside a dashboard. Now we look at the sharing options available in Zoho Analytics. We will see how we can present the reports and dashboards in a compelling fashion. To present the reports and dashboards in a compelling presentation, we can directly make use of the option slideshow. So at the top, you have an option called share. You can select share and you can choose slideshow. Slideshow allows you to present the created reports or dashboards in a compelling way to your end users. To create a slideshow, you can select share and you can choose slideshow. And you can create a slideshow. You can choose the reports that you would like to present. And you have an option called advanced slideshow. So this advanced slideshow is powered by Zoho Show. Zoho Show is another software of Zoho. It is an online presentation software. Now we can leverage Zoho Show capabilities by using this new option, advanced slideshow. And I'm going to name this slideshow as cost and sales analysis. And I hit next. So it's going to take some time to load the slideshow. So the help of this feature, what you can do is you can add notes to each report and you can present. And you can also embed Zia right away inside your presentation. So while you're presenting, you can ask Zia and get the insights on the go. So you can find an option called Edit with Zoho Show Editor. You can directly use this option and you can leverage the Zoho Show capabilities. You can apply a theme. There are different built-in themes. You can apply a theme. You can insert a text if you want. You can insert images, videos, or you can insert shapes and much more. When I insert a text box, I'm simply typing text 1, 2, 3. So while presenting, you can tend to choose the product category and much more. You can reduce the size of the chart. So in this way, you can create a compelling presentation and present the reports to your management. So we saw how we can create a slideshow. Now we look at what a portal is. As I said before, portal is a microsite that allows you to have all the reports and dashboards from different workspaces in a single place. So let me quickly show you an existing portal. So I'm opening the existing portal. So here I have various pages. I have the sales page, marketing page, help desk page, finance page. So this is a microsite. All of my customers can come to this site and they can view the insights. So this portal has the dashboard and reports coming from different workspaces. While you're creating a dashboard, you can just add the reports from a single workspace. But with the help of portal, you can add all the reports and dashboards from different workspaces in a single place. So I have the sales insights present in the sales page. So I have the dashboard, sales overview, and we have the marketing page. So in this way, you can build a portal. To build a portal, you can go to organization settings. So the top right, you can find the organization settings. At the top right, you can find the organization settings. You can go to organization settings and you'll be able to find an option called portal. You can choose portal and you can create a new portal by selecting the option create new portal. I'll quickly show you how a portal builder looks like. So this is the portal builder. So here you can add the reports and dashboards into multiple pages. This is the existing portal that I showed you. Here I have different pages. You can also add a new page, and you can just select the workspace from which you want to add the reports and dashboards, and you can add all of the reports and dashboards into different pages as per your requirement. If you want to know more on how you can build a portal and how you can add reports from different workspaces, you can join the data storytelling webinar, where we'll be explaining you more about how you can create a compelling presentation, how you can build the portal from scratch. So being said this, I'll come back to the dashboard that I have built. Now we have come to the final part of today's webinar. We look at the sharing options available in Zoho Analytics. The created dashboard can be shared as a view. To share the dashboard as a view, you can select share and select share this view. You can enter the email address of your end user to whom you want to share the reports or dashboards, and you can apply permissions and filters. You can give permissions to your end user to be able to export the data, view the underlying data, and drill down. You can also allow them to use Zia Insight, so they can get insights about each report present in a dashboard. You can give all of these permissions, and you can enter your end user's email address and share the view. So when they open the view, they'll not only able to see the report, they'll be also able to select any component of the report. So when they select any component, they'll be able to see the options view underlying data, drill down to, and drill down by. So I have selected the July 2018 data point, and when I select view underlying data, I'll be dragged to the raw data associated to July 2018. I can also drill down. I can drill down further and see the weekly sales during July 2018. Now I can drill down further for any specific week. For week 27 of 2018, I'm drilling down further, and I'm going to see the daily sales during week 27 of 2018. And I want to see which are all the products that were sold well during 4th July 2018. So I can select the specific data point, and I can select drill down by, because I want to see which are all the products that were sold well during 4th July 2018. So I'm going to drill down by product. So that is why I chose drill down by. And here we go. I see that office chairs and fruits and vegetables were the products that were sold during 4th July 2018. In this way, your end user will be able to drill down and do a deep dive analysis, provided if you give them the permission to be able to drill down while you're sharing the view. You can also make the view public, so anybody with this link will be able to access the dashboard that you have created. You can also share the dashboard or report as email and schedule the email to be sent at periodic intervals. To share it as email, you can select share and select email. And you can email the dashboard as a layout, or you can email the dashboard having each report in a new page. To schedule the email, you can choose the option schedule email, and you can give the schedule interval as per your requirement. You can schedule it on a daily basis or weekly basis or monthly basis or yearly basis, and you can give the time. So depending upon the time and the time zone that you have set, the dashboard will be sent automatically at the specific time. All of the reports and dashboards that you build in Zoho Analytics are dynamic in nature. So whatever changes that you make in the source, the changes will get reflected after each synchronization, and the reports and dashboards will be updated automatically. You can also embed the created dashboard or any report in website or blog. To embed, you can choose the option embed. The highlighted text is called iframe. You can copy this iframe and you can paste it along with the HTML code of your web page. So your end users visiting your web page will be able to view the embedded dashboard. So we have access with login and without login. If you're choosing access without login, there is no necessity for your end user to have an account in Zoho Analytics. They can directly come to your web page and view the embedded dashboard. And if you want to make the embedded dashboard secure, you can set an access password. We also have something called permalink. This option will be very useful if you want to share the created reports or dashboards with unlimited users or many users. So this option will help you to save a lot of money. So with the help of the permalink feature, you can share the created dashboard with many users. In order to share this dashboard as a permalink, you can generate the permalink with the help of the option access without login. And you can set an access password if you want. So I'm going to set an access password. Set the password to be 123456. Now I can send this link to as many users as I want. There is no necessity for my end user to have an account in Zoho Analytics, and they are not going to be listed as a user in my plan, which means I can save a lot of money. I can share these links with as many users as I want. They will be able to view the report. And it is not just viewing that they can do. You can also give them permission to be able to export the data, view the underlying data, drill down. They can also get insights using Zia Insights. They'll be able to leverage all of these capabilities even without having an account in Zoho Analytics. That is the main advantage of the permalink feature. You can give the permissions, you can copy the link, and you can send this link to as many users as you want. So I'm going to open this link in a new incognito window just to showcase you how this feature works. So now I'm going to enter the password. It is 123456. And I can see the dashboard. Even though I log in from incognito mode, I'm able to view the dashboard. I can view the underlying data. I can drill down and do a deep dive analysis. I can also get insights about the report. I can change the chart type. So all of these things you can do, or your end users will be able to do. So there is no necessity for them to have an account in Zoho Analytics. And this access without login option is available only in the premium or enterprise plan of Zoho Analytics. And we have the slideshow, which we saw how we can leverage the Zoho Show capabilities using slideshow. So being said this, I'll move on with my next slide. So we have completed the data story section part. So now we look at what a marketplace is. Zoho Marketplace is an online store where Zoho users can find and install over 1,000 ready-to-use extensions and custom apps that expand the core functionality of their Zoho application. These are also called as extensions, which are installable entities or ready-to-use integrations that let you do more without you having to write a single line of code. They provide feature enhancements, integration with other apps, and many other special capabilities. So right now, Zoho Analytics is listed in Jira, ServiceNow, Shopify. So this is our new go-to market strategy. So being said this, I'm moving on to my next slide. So in this new 5.0 release, we have come up with 60 plus updates. So we have 6 new business app connectors. While we are importing the data, I explained you the connectors that is available. We have more than 50 connectors. We have recently started supporting 6 new business app connectors like Jira, ServiceNow, Site 24/7, and much more. And we saw how we can utilize the tab feature in dashboard. We also started supporting different windowing functions and granularity functions. We saw how we can build formulas. Under formulas, I showed you the different functions available. So we have different window functions and granularity functions. We started supporting new visuals like word cloud chart. We also saw how we can create a word cloud chart. And we have a separate dashboard meant exclusively for dashboards. It is the immersive dashboard application. You can also export the reports or dashboards as templates. We have viewer mode. Let me quickly show you how the viewer mode works. So at the bottom left, you have the viewer mode option. So this mode will optimize the screen for viewing. So now we are looking at the dashboard in a viewer mode. You can turn it off. If you want to know more about the updates, you can join our Zoho Analytics 5.0 overview webinar, which will be happening. You can register yourself under our web page. Being said this, I'm moving on to my next slide. So we have come to the end of our today's session. I'll just give you a quick summary of what we saw today, and we'll have the question and answer session. So we started with the data import process. To import the data, we need to go to the home screen of Zoho Analytics. So from the home screen, we imported the data by choosing import your data option. So here you can find different connectors, and these are the connectors that we recently started supporting. We started supporting integration with WooCommerce, Begin, Site 24/7, ServiceNow, Exact, Online, Eventbrite, and much more. And we imported an Excel file. So I chose the option files and I imported a sample file. While importing, we saw how we can make use of the built-in data prep, and we saw how we can transform, and we imported the Excel file into our workspace. So the workspace name is webinar 15th of September 2021. So once the data has been imported, we saw the use of auto analysis function. Auto analysis will automatically analyze the data and come up with set of predefined reports and dashboards. We also saw how we can customize the existing reports or dashboards. To customize the existing reports or dashboards, we can directly choose edit design and we can make the customization. So after we saw this, we went to the next important aspect, which is data visualization. We saw how we can create charts and pivot tables. To create any view, we can select create and select the specific view. So now we created this chart to find out the month and year wise sales. To create any report, you can drag and drop the respective columns into the designer shelf. As I said, I want to find out the month and year wise sales. I dragged and dropped the date column into x-axis designer shelf, and I dragged and dropped the sales column into y-axis designer shelf. And I also wanted to see the sales value as text. So I dragged and dropped the sales column into text designer shelf, and we generated this report, and we forecasted how the future would be. We forecasted how the sales would be for next 5 months by selecting the analysis option, and we chose forecast. You can also choose a custom model and forecast as per your requirement. And we also saw how we can create a trend line. To create a trend line, you can again select analysis and choose trend line, and we created the trend line. And in this report, I wanted to eliminate the sales for the year 2015. So I used filters. Filters can be used to include or exclude specific set of information. I dragged and dropped the date column and I selected 2015 and I excluded the specific item. So the sales for 2015 has been successfully eliminated. And we saw the use of user filters. User filters are meant for the end users. Depending upon the column that we drag and drop into user filter designer shelf, our end user will be able to slice and dice the report. I added product category in the product into user filter designer shelf. So my end user will be able to slice and dice this report depending upon the product category and product. So after creating this report, we saw how we can perform a powerful scenario based analysis. So I explained you how you can do a what if analysis. This is the existing report that I showed you. So what if analysis is a scenario based analysis. At the top we have the slider called profit percentage. So what this report shows me is, in order for me to get a profit percentage of 60, how much sale should I make in the upcoming months. So we saw how we can do this powerful scenario based analysis. In order to do this, we need to create a variable first. The variable is the profit percentage that you can look at here at the top left. So this is the variable that we need to create. To create a variable, we can go to settings and we can go to variable and we can create a new variable. So I'll show you the existing variable. After you select create new variable, you'll be landing up in this page where you can select the range and you can give the minimum value and the maximum value along with the increment size as per your requirement. I have set the default value to be 60, and that is why the slider shows the default value at 60. You can increase or decrease as per your requirement. After which you need to build a formula column. I created an aggregate formula inside my sales table. So this is the aggregate formula that we built. So in order for me to get a specific percentage of profit, how much sales should I make? So this is my use case. So I built the formula accordingly. The sum of sales price plus sales price multiplied by the variable. You need to pass the variable that we built over here, and you need to divide it by 100. And we use this formula inside the report. The what if profit formula that we built, I dragged and dropped it into y-axis designer shelf, and on the x-axis I have the date column, and in the user filter I have added the variable that we created. And when we go to the view mode, we'll be able to do this powerful scenario based analysis. So after looking at this, we saw how we can create a pivot table. We created a pivot view to find out the profit that has been generated in different region for different product and a different product category. To create this report, I just selected create and selected a pivot view. So to find out the profit, I created a separate formula. To add a formula, I can go to add and choose formula column, and you can find different functions present here. So I simply created a simple formula to calculate the profit, that is sales minus cost, and I used this profit column in the report that I was building. After this, we created another report, and that report is the sales versus target report. The first two reports that we created were created with the data from one table, that is the sales table. And then I imported another table called target table by selecting import data, and I chose import data into a new table. So my end goal was to create a report with data from sales table as well as the target table. So after importing the data, I defined a lookup. To define lookup, you need to have a mutual column. In our case, the mutual column was salesperson. So what I did was I performed a right click over the mutual column and I selected change lookup column, change to lookup column. And I defined a relationship between the table, sales and the target. So now it is displayed as edit lookup because we already defined a lookup. So to define a lookup initially, you can perform a right click over the mutual column and select change to lookup column. So after we defined a lookup, a relationship was established between the table sales and target. And we created a report to find out the sales and the target of each salesperson. So after we created the report, we saw how we can create a dashboard. We created this dashboard called sales and cost analysis dashboard. And we saw the tab feature present inside the dashboard. And we saw various sharing options. We also saw how we can present the created reports or dashboards as compelling presentation using the slideshow capabilities. Followed by which we also saw the portal feature. Portal is a microsite that allows you to add reports and dashboards from different workspaces. The portal feature can be purchased as add-on if you are in a premium plan. In enterprise plan, you'll be able to build one portal. So now we have come to the end of today's session. It is time for the Q&A session. If you have any question, you can use the questions tab to post your queries, and I'll be happy to answer your queries.